Welcome back to the Bears Baseball Network. We have our Spring Summer Award Show here. We have so much talent at all these ages, and these were some of the toughest award races that we've ever had. So our full season awards here for the spring and summer, we got to get right into it because we got a lot to get to. And let's go ahead and start with arguably the most prestigious award in the Bears, the Youth MVP Award. This is for everybody who's between 11U and 14U in the spring-summer season. And starting off in third place is going to be Logan Payne from 14U Floyd. Led that team in OPS with a minimum of 100 plate appearances. Was second on the team in extra base hits, a monster season. In second place is going to be Matthew Hume from that 11U Floyd team. A monster season, over 1,400 OPS. But both of those guys failed to meet the absolute dominance of our youth MVP, Harrison Blabaum. Bernie, this guy, you've got the best hitter in the Bears on your team right now, Bernie. Getting to coach this guy day in and day out. What's it like, Bernie, coaching our MVP, Harrison Blabaum?
Yeah, obviously Harrison's a great hitter, also a great kid. But every time this guy goes up to the plate, you expect something good to happen. I know at the first half of the season or so, I don't know if he was the MVP frontrunner, but the back half of the season was the best I've ever seen 3 or 4 out over the fence home runs the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season. He was on an absolute tear, and I think he proved that he's still the best hitter we have here.
We've said this before, Bernie, but last year, if there were a full 2023 MVP award, I think Harrison would have won it. He kind of got caught by Lucas Wilburn, who was extremely hot in the spring-summer, and then Diego Buccia, who was extremely hot in the fall, and was second place in both awards. So didn't get his MVP award last season. He comes out and was the best hitter in the Bears so far in this season. So he's going to be our spring summer MVP. Moving into our high school MVP award, this is going to go to the 15U to 18U guys from the spring summer. In third place, we have Ben Combs, who led that 15U Floyd team in OPS. Really, he was on MVP pace for the first part of the season, kind of slowed down toward the end. In second place, we have Mac Floyd, one of the most home runs of our high school guys, really dominated offensively. But winning the MVP, there was not a player more dominant of the high school guys than Jack Dalton. He was the best player on the best team. KJ, I think there's an argument to be made that this guy is the best all-around player in the Bears. Certainly was the best high school hitter so far this season. Tell me about Jack Dalton, KJ, our high school MVP.
Yeah, Jack's one of those guys, he can kind of do it all. He's a guy who can hit for average and he can hit for power. So Jack's one of those guys, man, and he's a guy who stands out on a team full of superstars. That's just how good Jack Dalton is.
Bernie, we're probably going to talk about this a lot over the coming weeks, but now that Mac Floyd has graduated, is it safe to say that if you look at pitching, defense, and offense, is Jack Dalton the best player in the Bears right now?
I'd go with yes.
Yeah, this guy's absolutely dominant. One of the highest exit velocities in the Bears, one of the highest throwing velocities in the Bears. He really does do it all. And his defense, he plays all over the field. He's one of the best players in the Bears, if not the best player in the Bears. So congratulations to Jack Dalton. Let's move into our Cy Young Awards, looking at the best pitchers in the Bears, starting with our youth Cy Young. Starting with third place is Owen Haynes. His strikeout to walk rate was one of the best in the entire Bears. Kind of gets weighed down here because he plays at that younger age, so his ERA is a little bit higher, but a really great season from him on the mound. Owen Lewis, maybe not the best pitcher in the youth, but maybe the most valuable pitcher. What he did for that Burnsville team, he pitched a ton of innings and really did a great job doing it all for that Burnsville squad. But winning the Cy Young, Bernie, you called it in the preseason. It is going to be Mason Geddes. That 14U Floyd pitching staff is one of the deepest in the Bears, and Mason Geddes was absolutely dominant, one of the best strikeout to walk rates we've ever seen, and he's on pace to have one of the most strikeout seasons of anybody. KJ, when you look at a guy like Mason Geddes, known for being able to throw multiple pitches for strikes, get a ton of strikeouts without allowing any walks, what do you think about Mason Geddes' Cy Young season?
Mason's the definition of a Bears kind of pitcher. He attacks his own, and he's got multiple pitches he can throw for strikes. And when you're doing that, when you're a kind of guy that can, if you fall behind 2-0, you can come back with only curveballs, for strikes. He's one of the best guys at that, man. He can just go after everyone with everything he's got.
Mason Geddes not quite there yet, but I think he's on that kind of Jack Dalton trajectory where his defense, hitting, and pitching are all really, really good. Maybe none of those 3 skills are elite yet, other than maybe the pitching, but I think he's got that Jack Dalton potential if he can really develop himself as a player. Moving into the high school Cy Young, coming in at third place, and I'll tell you what, this was probably the most contested award in the Bears. To even be considered for the Cy Young Award, your ERA had to be below 1.6. I mean, we had several guys below 2 ERA who were not in the top 3 in the Cy Young, because that's how tough this race was. Starting in at third place was Andrew Willeret, a 1.2 ERA, very low walk numbers, pitched in some big games and won them. Coming in second place with a sub-1 ERA, unfortunately didn't quite have the amount of innings needed to win this award. Only 23 innings, but in those 23 innings, there was not a pitcher more dominant than Jack Dalton coming in second place. But coming in first, Bernie, I believe he is now a 3-time Cy Young Award winner. It is Logan Eckert, arguably the best pitcher in the entire Bears. Bernie, this is the guy who, again, I believe you called preseason was going to be the Cy Young Award. Maybe your easiest call of any of them. Logan Eckert, another Cy Young to his name. Give me some thoughts.
Yeah, I would like to shout out here too that if I did call Logan Eckert, which I believe I did, I went 4 for 4 on these predictions, I believe. I just want to put that out there. But Logan Eckert, I think when he started out, there was no one better at eating innings than Logan Eckert. And now it's to a point where no one's better at getting outs, no one's better at not walking guys, no one's better at striking guys out. All of his numbers, walk rates down, strikeout rates way up. And, of course, as Logan Eckert always does, he eats a ton of innings.
Yeah, and like you said, Bernie, this is a guy who was kind of known as a strike thrower early on. Then he was kind of known as a guy who could only beat bad teams. Now there's nothing you can say about Logan Eckert. He gets a ton of strikeouts. He gets no walks. He beats good teams. And he dominates bad teams. This guy really does do it all. Logan Eckert, our high school Cy Young Award winner. Moving into the Rookie of the Year award, we've got a very competitive rookie class in 2023-2024, that fall to spring summer season. A lot of good rookies here, but I think these 3 really stood above them all. Coming in third place is Carson Griffith, a guy who, again, maybe not elite at anything, but a good fielder, a good hitter, a good pitcher. Really nice season from Carson Griffith. In second place, we have Owen Haynes, who I think his arm was maybe a little bit ahead of his bat, but he's certainly no slouch at the plate. A good defender, a bat that I think has a lot of potential, and an arm that is one of the best in the Bears. But winning the Rookie of the Year award, Bernie, you've got the best player in the Bears on your team, and I think you've also got the best rookie in the Bears on your team. It is Rudy Montenegro Langley, our Rookie of the Year. Bernie, tell me about this guy. How good is Rudy right now, and how good is he going to be once he's a little bit more of a veteran?
Yeah, I think when this guy walked through the door, I think all 3 of us knew that he would be a superstar at some point. But to do this quickly is kind of insane. How good Rudy was in 2024 was how good I thought Rudy might be in 2025. He's just progressed so quickly. There's not many people hit the ball as hard as Harrison, and Rudy had some balls that were very close to what Harrison does. It's outstanding all year.
KJ, you've got a guy in Rudy Montenegro Langley who doesn't strike out very much, hits for a ton of power, and plays a defensive position and catcher where people don't run on him, and that's huge at that age. What do you think about Rudy Montenegro Langley, KJ, and where do you think his career trajectory is going right now?
Rudy's great, man, and I think something that Bernsteel team needed, another guy who could back up Harrison Blabaum, and Rudy's unbelievable at it. I mean, they really do have 2 of the top 10 players, I'd say, in the Bears with Rudy and Blabaum. Rudy's a future superstar. I mean, he's a superstar right now, but the power numbers he has, what he does behind the plate, I mean, he's so valuable.
Moving into our Platinum Glove Award, this goes to the best defenders in the Bears. The Platinum Glove is probably the most subjective of these awards. The other ones have a lot of stats behind them, but to really evaluate defenders, you really just got to watch. So looking at these guys, I think the first place you look is that shortstop position. So starting with our youth, in third place, got Landon Hines, who I think has the argument to be the best second baseman in the Bears. He makes everything hit right at him, but he actually surprised me with how much balls he could get to at that position. Coming in second place, in my opinion, the best youth outfielder was Aaron Noll. He comes second here in the Platinum Glove, but winning it, again, the first place you look at shortstop, I think this guy's the best youth shortstop. It is Cale Taylor who wins the Platinum Glove. Bernie, not only does Cale not make very many errors, but he also makes some big-time plays. How big is it having this guy at shortstop?
Yeah, like you said, when Cale moved over to shortstop at first, it was he was the type of shortstop that was going to make errors on routine plays, but could make crazy plays. And now he's gotten so many reps there. He's gotten so much better there. And that now, he makes, literally almost every play. He made 1 error all summer. He literally almost made every play, and this guy's an absolute superstar out there.
Yeah, really, really impressive what this guy does on defense. Again, kind of like we said about pitching. If you can get a lot of strikeouts without walks, That's exactly what we want. If you can make a lot of plays without making errors, that is the way to win the Platinum Glove. Moving into our high school Platinum Glove Award, coming in third place, arguably the best outfielder this season of our high school guys was Andrew Willeret. Again, I don't know if he has as much range as some of the other big outfielders in the Bears, but he makes every single play. His arm is super, super accurate, and he does everything right. He's super good fundamentally. Coming in second place is going to be Jack Dalton. Very good defensively, plays all over the field, infield, outfield, plays short when Teagan's pitching, plays third when Santi's pitching, plays the outfield. He really does do it all and does great at every position he's at. But winning this award, if you're not going to look at shortstop, if you're not going to look center field, I think the most valuable position is catcher, and it's going to be Wyatt Poore, who had a fantastic season behind the plate, threw out over 14% of runners. Guys love throwing to him because he does a great job back there. KJ, when you look at a guy like Wyatt Poore, a guy who I think you were maybe not a big fan of, and then really won your kind of love, over the course of the first couple years he's been here, what do you think about Wyatt Poore as a defender?
Oh yeah, Wyatt Poore has a great work ethic, man. I mean, this guy's an animal, and just when you think he can't get any better, he gets better. And I think for a little bit, he was kind of a guy who couldn't really do anything great. Then he was a great hitter, and he couldn't really catch. Now he's a great hitter and a great catcher. He's a game changer, man. And when you have a catcher who, there's not a lot of catchers who will throw out consistent runners stealing second. But even if you have a catcher who can just throw out guys at third every single time, I mean, and that's what Wyatt Poore is. So, he's one of the best, man.
Let's take a look at our first team All-Americans. These go to the best players in the Bears, the top 20 hitters, and the top 10 pitchers in the Bears here are our first team All-Americans. I'm going to split these 20 hitters into two groups, starting with the first 10. Bernie, I want you to hear these 10 names. Pick somebody we haven't talked about yet. Which of these guys do you think has the highest potential to be a future Bears MVP? So the first 10 guys here on the first team All-Americans: Matthew Hume, Cooper Woolen, Lucas Kloster, Harrison Blebaum, Rudy Montenegro Langley, Rowan Damschroeder, Nifri Kabarkis, Lucas Wilburn, Logan Payne, Evan Lancaster. Bernie, somebody we haven't talked about, who do you think has the best chance to be a future MVP?
Yeah, I think for that list, it's easy. We haven't talked about him yet today, at least. It's got to be Lucas Kloster. I think that if there is one comparison to Mac Floyd, it is Lucas Kloster. I think he could easily, or not easily, but he could be that in the future at some point.
Yeah, this is a guy super athletic, super good defensively with a ton of power at the plate. He just keeps getting better and better. KJ, these next 10 names, tell me who you think has the best chance to win a Bears MVP someday. Somebody we haven't talked about. Ben Combs, Wyatt Poore, Landon Nickerson, Jack Dalton, Teagan Kryler, Jackson Dormeyer, Sam Dollins, Mac Floyd, Reese Payne, and Brendan Nickerson.
Yeah, I'd say it's Ben Combs. I mean, this guy's just an all-around hitter. He can hit for average, and he has a ton of power. So I think Ben Combs has MVP written all over him.
Yeah, very strong list there. Those are our top 20 hitters in the Bears. Moving to our first team All-American pitchers. KJ, which of these guys, again, we haven't talked about, that you think could be a Cy Young Award winner someday? Owen Haynes, Owen Lewis, Mason Geddes, Andrew Willeret, Logan Eckert, Jack Dalton, Tyler Hall, Teagan Kryler, Reese Payne, and Mac Floyd. And in fact, KJ, you can pick anybody who didn't already win a Cy Young Award of these 10 here.
Yeah, I think, a guy who I think could be a Logan Eckert is Owen Lewis. I mean, this guy is one of the best at just pumping strikes, and he's got good stuff. I think, we saw Eckert. Eckert used to be that guy who could just pump strikes. And then we saw a big velocity step, and that's what I think Owen Lewis is going to have.
Bernie, looking at our second team All-American hitters, I want you to tell me of these. Actually, KJ, I'm going to go back to you. These first 10 guys, who do you think is going to be a first team All-American in the fall of our second team All-Americans here? So the second team All-Americans is essentially that next group of top guys who deserve some recognition here. So KJ, these first 10, tell me who you think is going to be a first team All-American this fall. Owen Haynes, the hitter, Landon Hines, Hamilton Case, Owen Lewis, Cale Taylor, Dowd Ishmael, Nick Byrne, Aaron Knoll, Joey Burgess, and Mason Geddes. Who's going to be a first-team All-American hitter this fall?
Yeah, it's got to be Joey Burgess. I mean, this guy is still, my MVP kind of pick. This guy had multiple home runs. He might get to double-digit home runs for the full season. So, when this guy gets a hold of one, he puts him out. I think he's going to be even more consistent in the fall.
Bernie, which of these guys is going to be a first-team All-American hitter in the fall? We've got Ivan Saxon, Andrew Willeret, Jaden Coleman, Nayo Guzman, Vince Dalton, Tyvor Zazueta, Ben Lillard, Clayton Kyera, Brady Heck, and Rose Selby rounding out our second-team All-American hitters. Who you got as a first-teamer in the fall?
Yeah, let me go to the Dalton squad, and I'll take Tyvor Zazueta. Had a little back injury or whatever he had this year that kind of derailed him a little bit, but I think people forget this guy is a 3, 4, 5 hitter on the best high school team in the Bears, a minimum. He's trying to let it order, he drives in a lot of runs, and I think that he's one of the big parts of that lineup.
KJ, here are our second-team All-American pitchers. Tell me who you think could be a first-team All-American pitcher this fall. Cooper Woolen, Hunter Finley, Harrison Blabaum, Lucas Wilburn, Evan Lancaster, Jaden Coleman, Noah Hendricks, Elijah Underwood, Santiago Story, and Brady Heck. Who's a first-team All-American pitcher this fall?
Yeah, I think it's a guy that's going to be Noah Hendricks. He's a guy who can pump strikes, and I think he's starting to learn that strikeout pitch. And I think he gets in trouble. He'll get guys 0-2, and then he lets them hit. He can't put them away. And I think he's learning some put-away pitches. I think he breaks first team.
Bernie and KJ, I'm going to ask you both here. Besides Rudy and Owen Haynes, we're about to go through the all-rookie team here. I want you to tell me which of these 10 guys, besides Rudy and Owen Haynes, has the chance to be a first-team All-American at some point in their career. Doesn't have to be this fall, at some point in their career here. So besides Rudy and Owen Haynes, here's our all-rookie team of the 10 best rookies from the last season. Rudy Montenegro Langley, Owen Haynes, Hunter Finley, Carson Griffith, Noah Hendricks, Hamilton Case, Seth Mullen, Gunnar Wilson, Max Sandler, and Caden Roberts. KJ, I'll let you go first here. Who do you think is a future first-team All-American of these 10 rookies here, besides Rudy and Owen Haynes?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys I like here, and a lot of guys who are really, really good. I think Gunnar's really good, Hamilton's really good. I'm going to go with Hunter Finley. I think as of right now, his defense is so good, it's breaking him in the lineup. But I think his hitting is getting much better. I mean, he's keeping his head down. He swings really hard, and he's already a very good pitcher. So I think at some point he's going to break in either first-team All-American pitcher or a hitter. I think both lanes are open for Hunter.
Yeah, you kind of got both lanes there with a guy who could be a big two-way threat. Bernie, for you here, who's a guy besides Hunter, Rudy, and Owen Haynes who you could see being a future first-team All-American of these 10 rookies?
Yeah, I think for me it's got to be Hamilton Case. Look, this guy was a 10U player playing 11U this summer, and I think you could argue he was still a top 4 or 5 player on the 11U team. But it doesn't matter for how this kid's so good that even if he stays playing a year up, he could still win, or be first-team All-American playing up a year. That's how good this kid is. And if he ever does move back down to his age, he's the best player there.
That's going to do it for our Spring Summer Award Show. And I'll tell you what, in the next couple of weeks, we are going to have our top 50 prospects for the new season. And if you think the 2023-2024 rookie class was good, this new rookie class looks to be possibly even stronger. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. Our fall baseball season starts this weekend, so a ton to look out for here in Bears baseball. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Bears Baseball Network, and we'll talk to y'all next week.